I'd like to thank everyone for coming here today. My name is Singapuri, and I'm your host for this new project. Today, it's actually my very first podcast, YouTube channel, whatever you're listening on. It is the very first show that I'm going to do. And I am super lucky to be hosting a dear friend of mine and a super talented human being and superwoman sometimes. She actually has superpowers. Not that you can see, but she does. Then you'll know. So I'd like to introduce everyone to Nathaly Theisinger, who is a Seelenflüsterin, which means soul whisperer. And what does a soul whisperer actually do? Well, I will leave it best to my friend Nathaly to explain. So Nathaly, welcome to my first session.
Thank you for welcoming me. Thank you for the option to be on your channel. So I'm really excited.
Lovely. And would you tell us, what is a Seelenflüsterer?
Yeah, it's difficult to explain, but when I work with a client, I don't only see the person and hear her or his problems. It's something inside me that reacts to their emotions because I kind of feel them. And when I go deeper into that emotion, it's like hearing what the soul is actually needing. And I try to work out with the client together what problem is inside him or her that actually keeps him apart from his own way of life, from his real original soul. So that's kind of the thing I do.
Wow, and that sounds really cool. And how did you get into something like this? It sounds like a very niche subject or journey to get into, yeah.
Actually, I have to go a few steps back in my history because
All right.
it was a journey to get where I am right now, because a few years ago I was a totally different person. I was depressed, I was anxious, I was addicted to alcohol, and I was heartsick. I had a lot of heart diseases, so not only one, I had a lot, I had like 4.
Wow.
And I felt lost, and my relationship with my family was totally strange. I lost contact to my mother. It's not like we never stayed in contact, but it was not like a normal daughter-mother relationship, because my parents got separated when I was 4. And with, I guess, 10 or 11, I decided to live with my dad. And there was some madness inside me, and I decided to push her away. But at my weakest point, something inside me told me, you have to call her. I don't know why I did that. She didn't tell me what happened that I was able to do it. But a few months later, I was, I guess, 19. She told me, yeah, you know what? The day you called me was really special, because the day before I was in a alternative therapy and I worked out my relationship with you and your sister. And I was like, all right, sounds like Scientology, but cool for you when you need that. And I made a lot of fun of her, to be honest, but I recognized that something changed. I was really more open to her, and she really was too. And that caught my attention. And she said, okay, you have to come with me so I can show you what happens when we go to these group events. So I went with her, and it was so strange. I was 19, so I'm still in puberty. And there were a lot of old people around me sitting in a circle. And then there was the therapist in front, and she asked someone to come to her and tell the problem he or she has. I can't even remember if it was a her or a him. I was so shocked what happened afterwards. So the person told his or her story, and then asked the people in the room to stay for a person or for a problem, whatever. And then there was some kind of group acting, but it was different. They kind of felt the emotions of the people they're standing for. And I sat there and thought, what did they put in the tea to act like that? I was so shocked, but something inside me just said, all right, you have to be open for that. You have to try that. So at the next time, someone asked me to stand for, I guess it was her son. And I said, yes, of course. And I stood there. I was really nervous. And when the therapist said, all right, let's start, it just hit me. It was like I was still me, but I really felt the way the boy felt. And I could actually, understand what he's going through and why they have that kind of relationship. And this whole weekend was such a process. And it opened my mind for so many things. And it didn't take so much time that I decided to make the apprenticeship. The training goes 10 months. And that opened up a lot of other things, a lot of alternative methods that just came into my life directly, like translating or reading or whatever the people around me just do. I just tried it all.
I'm curious to ask, how did it feel after the first session for you personally?
The first session where I was like standing for someone, or the first session I did for myself? The
first session, maybe for both, but maybe first for the first session that you went to. Like, what made you kind of stick to it?
It was the whole weekend. The first session was freaky, and I kind of liked that. But to fall in love with that work was the whole weekend, because, there are so many people who went there and told their stories, and it was so much sadness and so really, really hard stories that I thought, all right, my life is just a blessing and compared to those. And after they told their story, and even if it was something like sexual harassment, whatever, after the session, they kind of looked like they relieved something. It was so, I don't know, it changed my whole perspective on life, because, there are the people who were broken when they sat there and told their story. And afterwards they cried, of course, because it was a sad story, or a lot of things happened during this session. But afterwards you really could see that something in the person changed. And they had a different look on their past, or a different look on life itself. And I really just wanted to understand how this feels. So I started to get to sessions on my own. And I guess the first session was something about my connection to my mother and my grandma, or to a lost sibling, I can't remember. And I don't know. Oh yeah, it was a sibling. My mother lost a child before I was born, and I somehow felt responsible for a lot of things, and I didn't know why I did. But everything I did, I felt like it's my responsibility. So if something bad happened, I did it, kind of thing. And the man who made the session, or the therapist, he showed me that I felt guilty because I'm alive, and it felt like a sister, I'm not sure if she was, but because I'm alive and she's not. Because she gave her life so I can be alive. And to realize that felt so good. I really changed a lot just with one session. It made me feel so much more comfortable with me and with people. And it was growing afterwards. So I just love that work.
Yeah, it sounds like something really special. What is this Constellation work? Am I saying it right? What you did, or was it something else?
It was. I don't know if it's something that's already existing in England or America. I'm not sure. It's like systemic standing coaching. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you go into that and you take people to stand for situations, for problems, or for people,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the role play. You can do that in the group, or you can do that with a person alone.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure what the word is in English, to be honest.
Okay. So in German, what would you call it? Just out of curiosity.
Systemisches Familienstellen.
Wow. And to translate that, that's quite a bit of a mouthful. I'm still learning German.
Yeah, that's a long word,
Yeah.
a hard word,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really hard to translate that right.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds really interesting. It sounds so powerful, the experiences that you have to kind of look inside and to be able to come out and to really feel it. Like,
Yeah.
how do you think it really changed you? Like, how did it bring you into doing this as a career, maybe to kind of explore it further?
It changed me. Actually, the first point is it makes you feel something.
Mm. And were you always in touch with your feelings before this?
No,
No.
no, I wasn't. I kind of pushed them away because it was
Mm.
too much. That's actually the reason why I got the heart diseases.
Mm.
You know, when you do the work, you kind of start to recognize the original problems you have. It's just getting confronted with the truth. So sometimes it's like you're walking on a wall and can't find the door, and that's like the door. It's just an answer, nothing else. After the sessions, you're not getting told what you have to do right now with your life, like a normal therapist would do. They tell you what to do with your life. You have to behave like that. You have to talk to them. You have to do that. You have to do that. It's nothing like that. You just go to the sessions. You get to know what really is holding you back, or what's the reason behind your problems, what's the reason behind your health problems, whatever. And that makes you start to think about how do you act with yourself in your life because of that problem. What did you actually do to make it worse, to
Mm.
punish you or whatever? And it's just inside you. You feel that. You feel the situations after the sessions that were the same before, but you realize that in that situation and say, okay, no, I don't have to do that anymore because I know the reason. I don't need to search for it anymore.
Mm.
So, and why I choose to do this as a work was I always felt like I have something bigger to do than just sitting in a room with a lot of people on my laptop and sell something or whatever. Um, I, I don't know, I just felt something inside me when I saw the people in my training, for example, and they always told me, you have such a great feeling for people and you're so good in listening to their stories and to really make them feel comfortable with you. And the best part they said was like you never judge anyone. You can come, or they said I'm able to come to you with any problem, even with some of the worst behaving things that everyone else would judge, but you don't. And then it started in my head like, all right, I really should do something about it, and I really feel like I need to help people realize that there are people outside who understand and who try to help you and not judge you or punish you for what you did, but try to make you understand why you did that, and that you don't have to punish yourself for that, because we're all just humans, so we do mistakes.
It's beautiful. I think it's so important as well to just kind of realize that you're human. That's this whole non-judgment thing. This is something that I've been struggling with personally for a long time myself as well. Like looking at everything as either black and white, good or bad. It's so normal to do. But if you take these statements out and simply look at something for what it is, it makes it a lot more. I guess you relate to it. I don't know if that's empathy or how would you describe it, but it's also that just I guess you really connect to it. And
I don't know. I used to judge myself a lot. Maybe that's why I really understand how it feels to be punished, because I did that a lot with myself. That's why I got sick. That's why I got addicted to alcohol. That's why I got depressed, because it all was like punishing myself for mistakes that I thought I did. And yeah, I just want the people to know that whatever you did, it's not worth to punish yourself or to feel punished from someone else. You have the right to have a healthy life, to have a happy life, and it's your decision to have that. You have to decide to be happy. You have to decide to be healthy. I know it sounds strange because we always think that we have to go to a doctor and they tell us what we have to do so we can stay healthy. But in my history, I went to how's it called? I went to a lot of doctors and I went to a lot of
Specialists.
specialists. Yeah, a lot of specialists. Actually, for heart things, there were specialists from Europe. So there were a lot of people who might have had a lot of ideas, but no one was able to tell me what happened with me and what they will do with me. I took a lot of pills. They made a lot of whatever with my body. And nothing helped, really nothing. It kind of makes it worse. They put something inside me that's recording my heart rhythm.
Yeah.
And they didn't see that my body reacted to it after 2 years when I decided to get it out of my body.
Yeah.
And they got to know that you know, when your body is healing and it's reacting to it, they have like a weird thing around it, whatever. And I decided to take it out, not them. And during the takeout, they saw, okay, it was not a good idea to put that in her body. After 2 years.
Wow.
So 2 years, that thing was kind of doing whatever it did to my body and made so much things getting out of balance. And the work I used to do with the systemischen coaching, we can call it that, like systemic coaching or trance healing or whatever. And the people who helped me get to know why I was heart sick, I don't know, it just helped because I'm healthy now. I don't have rhythm problems. My muscle is fully grown. You know, there were the things inside the heart. I have no idea what it's called in English, but they have to close right. They didn't close. Yeah. I had a hole between the two sides of the hearts, and this all is gone. The rhythm is totally fine, and I'm so connected to my heart because of the work and not because of any doctor. They tried. I know they tried their best, and some of them were really, really nice and tried to understand me and my situation. I mean, I was 19 when I got to know about that. It was such a shock, to be honest. I was so overwhelmed. I didn't know what to do. I was so afraid of dying sometimes, to be honest, because this feeling when you get when I had a rhythm disease where the heart just stops to beat. And when you have that feeling of your heart stopping, it's just like a huge panic attack in your whole system. And you just break down, have no strength at all. You're just empty. It's like being empty out of blood in every way. And that was so bad for me. And now it's just, yeah, my body is full of life. My heart is fine. And I'm so thankful for this work and for the people who helped me get through this process that I really want to share that. Whatever kind of story you have, if it's regarding to health or regarding to whatever kind of problem, there's so many ways that can help you.
And if someone was curious about this, like how would you go about doing, like what would happen in a session with you? Would you just give us a little example?
It's always, yes, specialized on the person, because I'm really open to spiritual things. So everything regarding ghosts and your soul and whatever helps me. But I know there are a lot of people who are not able to feel that, to feel the spirits and to be in that topic. So I kind of have a lot of methods that are good for just kind of, normal work, normal therapist work. And the first thing is that I talk to people and get to know if they believe in something, if they don't believe in something, what is the reason they're at my place. So is there any health problems? Are there regarding any relationships? Is it money? Is it whatever kind of topic? There are so many different topics the clients come to me with.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we kind of figure out what's the main thing they need. And most of the time, I try to get them into a meditation and get them connected to their like lower brain,
Mm-hmm.
to see or to make them see what's really inside them, to make them connected to their feelings and make them connected to their past. If people are not open for meditation, there are a lot of methods where you can, for example, write down something on a paper and you make the people stand on the paper and it actually make them feel something. And or for example, you have a problem with your mother, whatever, and you're my client, I would ask you to stay in front of me and I want you to go to me. Just go, just no talking at all. Just feel how it would be like to walk to your mother right now. And you can see the people struggling during the work. And after they got to me, they sometimes hug me, or I'm standing for the mother, so I kind of get her feelings. I hug them back. And it makes them realize, all right, we are connected in some way.
Mm.
So it's not so far away that you can feel my mother, and I kind of feel that you're my mother in this situation right now too. So they open up and they let go of the fear to go to their mother, for example. It's so many different ways for people who are really open for spiritual things. There's trance healing, where I get connected to spiritual goals and ask them for the healing process the client is needing right now, and it just flows.
I'm curious because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who, when you said spiritual ghosts, go, what is it like?
Weird.
Yeah.
It's actually weird. Yeah, because another thing I do is the reading,
Mm-hmm.
and it also is like talking to ghosts, and it sounds pretty weird, but I somehow have a connection with especially dead people who kind of want to tell people something about them or something that's kind of still unsaid.
Mm.
Like a lot of people have guardian angels, and mostly it's a family member or someone from a different life, and they kind of want to talk to them, but they can't. And I see that when a client is with me and we have like the first talk, it's like something behind me knocking on my head, like, I need to tell him or her something. And I'm like, yeah, but not right now. And it's so distracting sometimes, and also a bit scary, because you get the emotions. When I'm in the reading, I kind of get myself into a meditation and ask them if they want to communicate. And when I do that, I sometimes get the feelings and kind of get overwhelmed. And that can be pretty scary. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like, it helps the people, and it also helps the ghosts or whatever energy wants to talk, because they can go. They want to say something and say that they're proud, or that the person is loved, and that they sad to watch them being not too good to them. And then they can go when they see the relief in the client, and that's just, even if it's scary, most of the time that's worth it.
Yeah, imagine like what you said, it's such a big release, like you're not carrying this burden anymore.
It is. We all have that feeling that when someone died, they're kind of still around us. I get that too with my grandma a lot, really a lot, and I'm so thankful for that. because everyone knows how it feels to be alone. And actually, we're never alone. There's so many energies around us who really wants to help us. We just need to ask them, and they give us little signs regarding to how good we handle them.
And
And
sorry,
yeah,
sorry to cut in. I'm just really curious for those of us who want to know, how do we ask?
it's actually pretty simple. Just sit down somewhere or just stay wherever you are, and you can do
Mhm.
it loud or like inside your head. It doesn't matter. It's like going to church and pray, to be honest. You just say whatever you want. For example, um, when my grandma died, I was so mad. I was so mad at the whole universe. I was so mad for them taking my grandma away from me. And I just sat there and asked her, Grandma, I really, really need to understand. I kind of lost the connection. I kind of lost the trust in the universe because you're gone. I miss you so much and it hurts so much. And actually, it took some time because I kind of pushed everything away. But then I got a lot of signs from her. I really got her voice in my head, and also people telling me something they shouldn't know because they never met my grandma but told me. And I was like, all right, how did you know that? And they're like, I don't know. So she kind of puts some information into people
Mm.
or into situations that I'm like, all right, it has to be from her. And she showed me that she wanted to go, and she decided to go, and she's still with us and sees everything we do, and that she loves us, and that made it so much better, but still strange.
Yeah, but it's beautiful that you can still have that connection. I think you've told me a little bit about the story before about you and your grandma, and lately, I'm kind of in a very similar place as well. My mum passed away when I was 3. Never really, actually, never knew her, and for the last couple of months, it seems like she keeps popping up more and more. And the more stories I hear from you, I hear from Steph and some other people as well, I'm starting to feel a little bit more connected, and just sometimes asking for help or asking questions when I don't know what the hell to do and I'm stuck. And kind of like you said, right? You just sit there and you say whatever's coming out and put it out there. And even if nothing happens, like you definitely feel a lot better. So that's always something good. And then you
It
kind of move
is.
on from there.
Just say whatever you want to say, and you get the answers you need. That's
Mm.
what I meant before. They won't give us answers we can't handle because
Hmm.
they really know what freaks us out.
Yeah.
So you can actually feel them touch you if you're open to it. But if they would touch you when you're not ready for it, you would freak out. You would be scared because you would think, oh, maybe it's something bad that wants to harm you, whatever. And they don't want you to get into bad thinking. So they send you small messages, and they grow and grow when they get to know that you understand them. So at some point, maybe might be able to see her in your dreams, or to really feel her by your side. So just stay connected, and yeah,
Mm.
when you feel better, when you ask her, she's already doing something with your energy. So that's a good way to go.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting. I told my dad about this the other day, and he was like, "What? She talks to you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I told him like, "Yeah, but she talks to you all the time." He's like, "No, no, she never talks to me. I talk to her all the time, but she never talks to me." So I told him, "Oh, yeah, she says she talks to you all the time. You just don't listen, and that you talk too much, and then she needs time to kind of think and answer you." And he was just, I think, a little bit confused, but it
Yeah,
was, I think, something you needed to hear. Yeah. Wow, thank you.
you're welcome.
Yeah. So, Natalie, like, would you, if someone wanted to get in touch with you and experience some of your coaching services, what would be the best way to find you, to reach out to you?
Well, I'm on Instagram and Facebook with my
Hmm.
real name, so it's pretty easy to find me there. But to really get to know what I do, but it's in German. So for
We've got Google Translate, guys. Don't be lazy. Just use the app.
Yeah, so you can go to my website. It's also like www.nathalytheisinger.de for Germany. And you can see whatever you need to know. And there's a lot of buttons where you can get in contact with me and just have a little chat, what you need. And yeah.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And we're definitely going to put all those connections at the bottom of this page as well, so that you can find Nathaly Theisinger easily and say hello to her. So Nathaly, do you have any questions for me? Or do you have anything else that you'd like to add on?
I'm not sure. I guess everyone has a lot of questions left because we don't know what is triggering the people right now who are listening. But I just want the people to know, whatever situation you have, you're never alone, because there's someone out there who's in the same situation always. So you don't have to judge yourself or punish yourself. You're just a human being, and there are so many souls out there who really has their beliefs and works like I do, who just want to help you, be there for you, and give you everything you need to just figure out how your life is so precious and how you are able to get back your strength to live your life in the fullest way and just celebrate it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm really touched. Nathaly, thank you very, very much for being on my show and for being my first guest. Taking a chance at this crazy guy, this crazy suggestion, like I really very grateful to you.
Thank you.
I have still probably like 300 questions to ask, including one which always comes up, and I'm always curious. If you don't mind, one last question.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. What's your spirit animal?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Actually, I always thought it was a butterfly. But I got to know that my grandma just showing up in some random situations, telling me, think about what to do right now. And I felt a really, kind of something touched inside me when someone said, you remind me of a dragonfly. And I'm like, cool, that's something. And yeah, it might be my dragonfly, but I'm not sure. Actually, that feels right.
It's a really good start. And I think dragonflies, I read somewhere that they show up as sometimes a spirit or something to remind you of the things that are important in your life. Yeah.
That's what I do. I just remind people that they're the most important thing in their lives.
I love this. Well, Nathaly, thank you very much for joining us on our show. And guys, if you want to meet the beautiful and fantastic and multiply talented Nathaly Theisinger, she's right there. Check out the show notes below, and all the links are over there. And come say hi to her. Find her on Instagram, on Twitter at, what's your Instagram link, by the way?
It's Nathaly Theisinger, and I don't have Twitter. I just have Facebook. I just don't get Twitter.
Okay, forget about it, Twitter. So yeah, leave it me. No worries. So Insta her, Facebook her. And guys, we look forward to seeing you soon at the next episode.
Bye.